So, gonna do a trade recap today. I had on ES, which obviously we see went in my favor. Ended up making $546 on the eval account. So it was a very good trade, but I'm gonna go over all the confluences. So we'll start out with news actually. So with news today, we had basically nothing. We had no high impact news at all today. We had some orange folders at 8:30, which did absolutely nothing. So coming into market open, they're on the hourly time frame. I'll turn this back on. We had a couple of strong draws of liquidity. One being London session highs located here. We also had Asia session highs and previous day highs, all pretty close to each other. These were relative equal highs here. Nasdaq's were not relative equal highs, really, though. Previous day highs were swept during Asia session and Nasdaq. So I didn't think it would be too impactful. The big thing was, though, that we ended up sweeping out London session highs here. And we were also within a high time frame bearish order block as well, but I didn't really have that marked out. The big thing here, there's a couple big things specifically on the 5-minute. The one thing was we had SMT. We see here we're making higher highs on ES while we were making lower highs on NASDAQ. And with my bias being bearish, that's exactly what I wanted to see. So there are another 5-minute confluence here we had was this 5-minute order block right here. We see this final move down for the move up here. So I was keeping an eye out on that because this was relatively right where we were going to get a market structure shift too. So it would be a pretty nice confluence of having a 5-minute market structure shift along with a 5-minute breaker block. So this happened. Obviously, we see could have caught it a little earlier, but it wasn't within the macro. So we'll see on the 1-minute time frame exactly where I entered. We see the macro opened. It was literally that candle, which where I opened. We inverse that fair value gap. Obviously, we see a minute or 2 minutes before the macro opened. I wasn't that worried because I was really confident that we were going to end up chasing these previous day lows. We weren't just going to stay here at London session lows. I figured we were going to take both of them out, especially with how much NASDAQ was just ripping down. I figured NASDAQ's going to continue to ripping down. Obviously, ES is going to do the same thing. It's not going to be like the opposite. I don't know. So we see we got like basically that first candle or a little bit after this first candle closed below this 5-minute order block was right when I entered short. So I wanted to target these previous day lows right over here, which is exactly what we ended up smashing. So this was overall a really, really good trade. This is exactly what I look for. One of the ways I look for it, another way is a reversal, but order flow seems to work a little bit better. But again, my bias being bearish, I hope we don't rip down too far and fill this in because I want to wait another trading day to hopefully be able to target this. But obviously we see today we are probably going to rip down. I think we're going to get a little bit of consolidation after we get this big move. We already saw like on the 1-minute here that I basically caught that whole move and then we started chopping. So I figure we're probably going to end up doing that. We are taking a lot of lows out, so we might see a little bit of a reversal. Obviously, we see taking out previous day and previous London day or previous day London session lows. Probably going to see a little bit of a reversal, but overall was like really, really good trade. Followed the order flow strategy perfectly. I think maybe not worrying too much about high time frame confluences like high time frame order blocks or fair value gaps might help me a little bit. But overall, this was like literally exactly what I look for in a trade. So this was perfect. Ended up smashing take profit. Obviously, I was in this trade for like 5-6 minutes, so it was a really good trade. Followed all my confluences. It was nice to be back in the winner's circle. But just gonna keep this momentum going throughout the week. Again, this week we don't have a whole lot of news. Tomorrow we have unemployment, and then Friday we have PC price index, which this might do a little bit. I'm not sure, but tomorrow's probably not going to be much. So one trade this week so far, one win, very nice.